Hey guys, alright, so this is just an introduction to the video you're about to watch. It is an interview that we had to do here at home instead of at the gym because we just had stuff going on at the gym. This is the premise of the video. I just want you guys to know that when I say that you can reach your goals without having a trainer, without having a gym, it is true, and that is why I did this today, so that you can hear this from a person that has done it, a person that is doing it, with very, very little direction that she got from online resources, myself, and just a whole bunch of determination and consistency. So I hope that you get something out of this. If you have any questions, please drop them below, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, it's recording. Right? Guys, we literally just finished this.
How long was that?
35 minutes.
No!
And then we're like, all right, that was awesome. Let's have a look. It didn't record.
Is it recorded?
It is recording. 18, 19, 20.
Round 2.
All right, it's recording. Round 2. Okay.
Where do we even start?
Welcome, everybody. This is Miguel with Driven Performance, and my guest today is Sarrah. Sarrah is our very first driven superstar that is not a DP client. She has done incredibly well, and she is here to share with us how you can do a transformation without having a personal trainer by your side knocking food off your hand. So Sarrah, thank you so much for being here.
Do you actually go around doing that?
Well, people do ask me to do that. They're like, all I want is for you to follow me and like knock shit. I'm like, oh,
not enough time in the day.
Not enough time.
No.
So thank you so much for being here. Round 2 of recording. Please tell us a little bit about you, your family, life.
Okay. So my name is Sarrah, and I'm a longtime resident of Nanaimo. I'm 26 years old, 26 years young. I have a son named Jackson. He's 1 year old now. Crazy busy little guy. And I have a partner named Fred. What else?
Work. What do you do for work?
I am a community health worker, so I work for those who need me in the community for Island Health. I really, really enjoy doing that. I also work at a facility here in town doing like complex care, which is also great. They're really good there.
That's tough work, isn't it? Like,
it's very hard on your body. Yeah, it is. It's very consuming, mentally, physically. It's just a very demanding job. But it is rewarding. Not as much as everyone would think, but it is, as far as knowing that you're helping people every day live a comfortable and happy life. It's good.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about you growing up, and maybe like start with like at which point did you notice maybe you started to gain weight?
So I started gaining weight. Well, I started noticing not till I was maybe like 10 or 12, but I definitely, when I looked back at pictures, I started the weight gain around 6 or 7 years old. And that was after we did a lot of moving around and stuff like that. So it really started to kind of pack on, and looking back at pictures, I was a lot bigger than other kids, and I was always the tallest, which kind of somehow made it more of a issue with food. Being the bigger kid, you think you need to, compensate for that, but yeah.
And at which point, like, were your parents trying to help with this? Like, what was the dynamic like at home when your parents started to notice this?
Well, they didn't really make me feel like I was different until like those early teen years. Before that, I just had this, like, it was normal. I could come and go as I wanted, snacks and whatever was going on, and every time we would leave the island, Salt Spring Island, we would go for fast food, and that was an exciting thing for us because we didn't have that on Salt Spring. So, that feeling you get from having fast food was like cemented into me at a very young age. It was so exciting to get that because we didn't have it. So, and then when at the end of elementary school, grade 6 and 7, and then is when the kind of intervention started when mom started getting me into like the boost drinks. She tried to get me to do. I was on board for it, but meal replacement drinks, the boost thing. She came home with like a huge box of 32 or something and said, "Okay, this is what you're doing. You're on a liquid diet now." And oh yeah, okay. Well, it was good for the first day, right? You can't do that to a kid that age.
Parents, like, as parents, we always try to do the best that we can with what we know.
I don't blame her. Like, we didn't know that much about how being obese was going to affect our lives and how to change that at that age, right? It wasn't widely talked about.
Tell me about you in high school and kids and...
Kids in high school were awful. I had a very, very hard time. I started out at Woodlands and I was severely bullied. Kids would yell, "Watch out, wide load," when I would walk down the hallway. And I was physically bullied. I would be pushed into lockers, pushed on the ground. I'd have muffins and apples whipped at my head all the time. They would bust into my locker and spit in my bag. There was just, cruel, crazy times. So it wasn't good. And of course, food was comforting and you would automatically turn to that. And as I mentioned in the last take, that I got a paper route as my first job. And what I would do is with that, like $40, because it wasn't a lot, but I would go right over to Fairway Market and spend it all on corn dogs and pudding. And they had slushies, just like anything and everything. So I did that every few days. It was,
Your parents didn't even know.
They had no idea. Yeah, because we were, on our own around that age, and we would come home for dinner, and she had no idea that I just gorged myself like an hour before.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at which point do you meet your husband? Like in later years, how did it impact like dating life? All of that.
Well, dating was a hard thing for me. I felt so gross and I was so low on myself for so long. Like, I just would settle for pretty much any guy that would come my way, and that really made a very destructive pattern as far as how I was treated and kind of the life choices I was making, partying and drinking. And yeah, there was some, recreational drug use. And that kind of all stemmed from trying to fit in with people who accepted me. And, I would put up with the comments and then eventually the physical abuse. And there were, lots of things that happened. And so, like, my weight gain definitely had a big part of that, big role in that. So dating was really tough. And I always, my mom brought me up to be a very headstrong, stubborn, independent, woman. And so it was always kind of a lot of turmoil in my head, fighting with, okay, you deserve better, you need to say goodbye to all those things, and then struggling with the fact that, oh, well, I don't feel like I deserve those things.
Right.
So often I would just let it happen. Yeah. So.
And so at which point did you say, okay, that's enough, something needs to change?
Maybe 4 or 5 years ago is when I really started trying to shed the weight. But it only ever lasted maybe 2 or 3 months. And then...
How would you go about it?
How would I go about it?
Yeah.
Well, I bought an elliptical, and I finally moved out of the party houses and stuff, and let go of some toxic relationships. I finally just said, enough is enough. It needs to get better because I'm gonna go way, way, way down the wrong path. And so I went and got my own place after I finished school, and I got the elliptical, and it sat in my bedroom for freaking ever. I mean, I used it for a month, and I started feeling a little better and losing some weight, and so that was great. But then I got injured at work, and So I was off work for a while, and that was not good. Of course, like I started filling my fridge with all the bad stuff, and then once I got better, they put me into occupational rehab, which was like 6 weeks of 4 hours at the gym a day. So that was a good like booster to get going again. So I got going again. I was doing pretty good. I wasn't following the scale or pictures or anything at that time, so I'm not sure where I was as far as progress, but and then I got hurt again at work, you know, lucky and then that was quite a few months of just like whatever, I'm just gonna do what I want, eat what I want, party, blah 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 blah. So I got really out of control again, and then I did get better. I went back to occupational rehab again at Long Lake Physio, and they were really great. And I felt so empowered to like try this again, and started feeling better. And then I met Fred just as I was starting that occupational rehab, and like I was on top of the moon. I had my own place to live. I had a really good job. I had all this money. I had a nice vehicle. I was super into wheeling and having just like a blast. Like my life was like way up here. It was so awesome. And then I got pregnant right before the end of occupational rehab. And that really like just spiraled me out of control again. Like it was awful. Hormonal pregnancy. Whoo! It was really hard. Yeah. So, and then I got really big when I was pregnant, and finally when I had my son, that was this needs to change. Like it has to happen now, because I refuse to spend the rest of my life doing what I've been doing. I don't want that for my son. I don't want any of the things I've experienced for him to happen to him, and so I have to be the leader in that and show him that how life should be and kind of guide him. Yeah. So I have to do that myself to get him there. Yeah.
Nice. What was the heaviest that you got during your pregnancy?
320. I reached 320. That's when I stopped recording
weighing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I told the doctor not to tell me anymore.
Once Jackson was born and everything, once that was said and done, what was your weight? 305. 305.
Yeah.
And so at which point, how long ago did we meet?
So I kind of like followed you for a while now, for a few years, and I don't think we met until after I had Jackson. Yeah, I came in
shortly after, I think.
And did that interview for the We Are Driven episodes. Yeah. And you didn't pick me?
I remember.
I cried a lot.
Yes, so I wanted to quickly tell them about that. So we go through the interview. We interviewed a lot of people that applied for it. And do you remember what I said? Because did I tell you right then and there?
It's because... No, you didn't tell me right then and there. It's because I said something about tattoos, that I was going to get a tattoo. And you said that basically you didn't choose me because I was choosing a tattoo over spending money on my fitness and health. So I was just like, what? What?
You, man.
Yeah. Well, it went through my head. I didn't say it, but I was like, dude, you're not gonna find a better candidate. Like, anyways.
and then what? Because I remember saying, I want you. I was like, when I do this again, and I have interviews again, I want you to come back and prove to me that you don't remember that.
No, I don't remember that. But so basically, I just tried to like turn that disappointment into motivation, and I did. And I just kept going and saying, he's not going to fix my problems. And I had to realize that. And that was a big kind of stepping stone in really gearing up and losing, I think it was like 60 pounds at the time until we met again. Yeah.
So now tell me, okay, because what we want to make sure that you guys are getting out of this is, if you don't have access to a personal trainer or whether it is one-on-one or in a group setting, if you don't have access to that, how do they do it? Where should they start?
Well, You have to start little, because if you just throw yourself into it, you're going to scare yourself, or you're going to feel so overwhelmed that you're just going to crash and go back into your same habits. So anything little that you can start to do. Miguel told me when I talked to him the first time that I needed to eat 500 calories less a day and burn 500 calories more. So after I got the green light, after having my baby, I weaned out, just stuff I knew was bad for me. No more juice, I stopped eating bread for a while, but I didn't continue that because I love bread, love sandwiches. Yeah. It's just easy when you have a newborn, so you can't, be too drastic. I switched cereal because I like cereal to like whole grain Cheerios, like the most basic Cheerio that you can get, so I have that. And I eat tons of oatmeal because it's super filling, and I can last 3/4 of the day on oatmeal. I mean, I don't recommend going that long because you will crash, but when you have a newborn and you have no time for you, so you just need to make those better choices. And lots of fruit. I mean, fresh fruit isn't always available in our stores, so it's not very good, so I chose frozen, and it still helps. And then I religiously was having smoothies once a day. I got a good protein powder that I liked. Don't know if it's great because I know nothing about them, but it tasted good. It filled me up. I put spinach in there, blueberries, mango, peanut butter.
And how did you know, like, you were tracking your food?
Yes, MyFitnessPal, which I was accustomed to using for quite a while, but I started getting very consistent with it because, you're not, if you're putting only down certain things on there, the only person you're cheating is yourself. So you have to be very honest with yourself. You're going to be, if you're in that headset that you're going to succeed. You have to be. You gotta, because you're not going to get anywhere by trying to trick yourself or whatever, by changing it up. So. And
now tell me about your activity. Where did you start?
For activity, so I got that elliptical, and I put it in my living room, and I would put the TV on when Jackson went down for a nap, and he would only sleep for like maybe 30 minutes at a time, and so I would put on a good show and pull the elliptical out and get on it, and honestly, I was dying after even 6 minutes. Like, 6 minutes was mind-blowing, and how sad that I only 6 minutes, it's really bad when 6 minutes at 6 minutes, and you're like it's on the easiest setting, it's just things have to change. So I would just zone out on the TV and try and push myself for as long as I could, and I knew that even though I could only do 6 minutes, it was going to change. You're going to get better, you're going to do better. It will come with time. And so eventually I would progress to 10 minutes, and then 15, 20, 25, and eventually I got up to 45. And I started playing around with the resistance on it. So I started Pinteresting the HIT workouts or whatever, right? Pinterest is a great tool. I have a huge album of things that I like to try, and you're not going to like everything because it's uncomfortable, right? But you should try it. And so I did that, and then eventually when the elliptical was not as much as I was needing, I started to progress past it, I started doing walks around the neighborhood, and even a 10-minute walk was 300 calorie burn, which is crazy. I don't know. That's a lot.
You had your baby on you.
Yes, I had my little 10-pound sack of potatoes, and it was hot, and I had the dogs who aren't the greatest they're better now, but
they pull all over the place.
And then I started trying to walk up the Meredith Hill right by the Woodlands. So that was a butt buster, and I swear I was dying. I was saying it in my head, I can't do this, it's so hard, it's so awful, I can't do this. And so that was another big thing to conquer, was just walking. Walking.
Literally very gradual.
Honestly, any movement is better than no movement. So if you can get up and go for a walk, you're not, exerting yourself, and the air, it feels amazing. You get home and you just feel so clear in the head, and you feel so empowered, and you can do that. Like, you can walk, even if it's for 5 minutes, and then it's just going to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started hiking. I started doing Westwood with the little sack of potatoes, and like that was one of the things that I had always feared, because we were forced to do that run in high school. And I would cry. I would try and call in sick, anything to get out of that hike, because that hill is scary.
The devil.
The devil, yeah, the devil when you are that overweight. But I said, you know what? Like, I don't care if it takes me 3 hours. I'm going to do it. And I did it in an hour and 45, and it sucked. And I was so sore and tired and never wanted to go back, but I did.
Nice.
Yeah, and I had friends who at the time were, willing and able to come with me with their kids, and it was, more of a social thing, and it kept my mind off it. And like, the hardest part is the hill, right? Everyone's afraid of that hill, and it's never gonna be easy. But the view at the top is so worth it, and totally. I never would have known that until I pushed myself. So
tell me a little bit about how your body is changing and has changed. I think we're doing the math, and you've lost
85 pounds, 220 now.
85 pounds in about 12 months?
A little more, 13 months. But yeah.
Now, how is your internal, how's your mindset different today than back then?
There's definitely more appreciation for the things that I can do now. I feel better about myself. Not only did I get through, all those years of neglect and hardship in high school, but I made a baby, which is no easy feat. Like, kudos to women who have...
I can't do it.
I wouldn't recommend it anyways, but it's incredible what our bodies go through doing that. So, and now that I am able to, go out and do new things and not be afraid of drive-thrus and restaurants, but mostly going out and seeing the views and stuff. It's great to be able to do those things. Yeah. I have a lot more confidence now. It still wavers. It comes and goes. Like today I feel super thick and gross and whatever, because I just went away for 3 days, no gym, and there was Chinese food, and what else did we have? Oh, breakfast buffet. Yeah, I did that.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, it was great, but I just feel gross, but I know it's not going to last forever, so it's yeah.
And that's a perfect segue into one of the questions that was submitted. How do you fight off cravings?
So you don't. There's no fighting cravings. Like, that's one of the hugest things that I struggle with is cravings. I tell Fred every night, it's like 7 o'clock. It's like clockwork. It hits 7 o'clock. It's the worst. It's I'm craving Timbits donuts. I'm craving Dairy Queen, McDonald's, whatever. Like, it's just, I have to have it. And a lot of times I do. I never do McDonald's, all that, whatever. But like ice cream, I will go and have some ice cream, or even peanut butter toast will like quench the craving. Like, it's not a bad choice. It's a lot better than going out and getting ice cream. But so I'll try and have those options. I have like mangoes and stuff like that, so I'll have that.
How do you manage to have to give in sometimes to those cravings while still doing so well?
So obviously, like when you go out of like the norm and have the ice cream, or you have the muffin or the donut, or it's gonna happen, but you just have to know in your head and be honest with yourself, like, yeah, you can have that, which is great, but you also know that you need to go and make it right. So you need to like make a commitment to yourself. Say it in your head, like, I'm gonna gift myself this because you're really gonna enjoy it and you deserve it, but I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow like I always do, and maybe I'm gonna push myself for another 30 minutes, or I'm gonna, instead of an hour visit to the gym, it's gonna be 2 hours, which is a huge jump. But for me, it's, it's okay. It's not that big a deal because I'm not like go, right? Yeah. You're just gonna get that step count up or whatever, right? Little bits of extra.
And you were mentioning that you just recently started going to a gym.
Yes. So,
right? Because before that you weren't. It was all...
No gym. In January, the New Year's resolution thing, I was like, I've been off the wagon of working out there for a while, and I finally said, I'm not done yet. There's no way that I'm done yet. So I was actually gifted a few months to Fit for Less, and like, thank you, Sarah, because you have totally gotten my ass back on that train. And so I've been going 5-6 days a week. I have to force myself to take a day off because you have to. You really need to rest. So, yeah. And I don't even do that much there, to be honest. Like, I start with my cardio. I'll go on the treadmill. And like I try to have a goal of like 200 calories for cardio. I don't even make it so like I need to run or anything. But I do, like, I'll put the incline up to 10 or 15 or 17 for like 5 minutes, and then I'll lower it down and I will increase the speed. And I have actually, was one of my goals was running on the treadmill, which is like very scary for a lot of people. It's like there's a lot of people looking, right? It's so hard to get your mind into it, but I was listening to a really good song, and it was like had me so pumped, and I said, you know what, screw this, I'm doing it.
Yes.
And I did it. So I just like put it up to like 5 or whatever I needed to start jogging, and I just did it. And you know what, it
felt good.
It felt great. And I didn't last that long. Like, it was like the first time I ran was like a minute. But
tell me a little bit about maybe the first few times when you go to the gym and there's all these people there.
Oh, it's so overwhelming and scary. The first time I went to Fit for Less, it's really confusing because they just give you this little pass card, and so you scan. I didn't know how the doors work because they revolve. Oh my!
Did you get looked out on the?
Yeah.
Me too. The first time.
Yeah, and it won't let you back in.
I went back home.
Half an hour.
Yeah, I literally went back home because I was like, I'm not gonna stand here for 30 minutes.
Right, looking like a total knob.
Like an idiot.
Yeah, because people can see you on the treadmills, and they're just like.
They're literally just lined up looking at you. So you go and you go beep. And it's stuck, and you can't go in. What are you gonna do?
What do you do, right?
Turn around,
There's no staff.
get in the car and drive away.
I see a lot of people do that. So, but no, I said, you know what? I'm going in because I've made it this far. I literally got in the car and I drove here 15 minutes. So I have to go in. Like, it just has to happen. And so I did. I said to a person coming out, hey, like, it's not letting me in. So I scanned it. And I didn't know how to work it, so I didn't get in on time, and then it says 30 minutes till you can try again, and I was like, oh, what? I'm not sitting here for that long. So I just said, can you let me in? It locked me out. She did, which was super awesome. And so yeah, I go in, and there's just people everywhere. And actually I saw Jana the first time, and I was like, I haven't seen her in forever. And so I got on the bike because it was the first thing as you walk in, because I don't want to go any farther.
Right.
I don't want to look like, I don't know what I'm doing. And, those insecurities, those voices are starting in your head like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't do this. Well, I just got on the bike because, okay, I'm there. And I started up the bike and like learning how to use it because I've never really used machines before, and then work calls because I was on call, so I ended up leaving like 10 minutes later. But you know what? I did it.
Yeah.
I went in, I did it. I laid eyes on everything there, and it took probably 2 or 3 weeks. I started going almost every day, in between shifts or whatever, and I would tell myself, okay, well, today, to push myself, you're going to go over to that corner of the gym. Nice. You're going to find something to do over there.
You're going to make it to that
Yes,
post.
And I still haven't made it into that
little room in the back?
Yeah,
nice.
Haven't made it in there. Yeah. But I've made it everywhere else.
So tell me, you were telling me about how you put on the blinders when you go in there.
Yes, so I mean, it's I don't know if it's easy for everyone to do, but I definitely do put my blinders on, and people don't make eye contact at the gym, or sometimes you do, but you just really, put your music on, you go in, you get on the treadmill just to start, and then once you're like actually doing something, you kind of relax and let go of the fact that there's other people around you, and and you gotta think too that you're having all these thoughts in your head and you're having a hard time. Well, can you imagine what the other 50 people are thinking? Because, you can't be far off. They're probably feeling it too. They're probably just as insecure. And so you just got to keep that in your head.
Tell them about that guy next to you.
So earlier today, before I came here, I was on the treadmill and running, and I was so like focused. There's TVs up there or whatever, so I just like I look at my phone sometimes, not really, but or look up at the TV but I was so focused on not looking at other people that this guy came up on the treadmills, and like there's probably like 10 other ones that nobody else was using, but he came right next to me.
Of course. I'm like, why?
Whatever, I don't really care.
Right.
It doesn't bug me, but it wasn't until I got off the treadmill and went and got the spray to clean down the treadmill that I realized, like, holy crap, that guy's like half naked. He had taken his pants off and was wearing like these tiny, tiny shorts. I was just like...
He's just loving life.
Yeah, but you know...
Running in his
Speedos.
It's
funny, it is. It's really funny. But you also gotta think, oh my gosh, good for him. You know, like,
absolutely.
you know he isn't comfortable, and you know he's totally out of his zone, and kudos, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching this, good for you.
Yeah. And so for you, it's just literally just staying focused on you.
Yes.
Go in there, do your thing. Don't worry about everybody else. And
and then it just gets easier over time.
Yeah.
The more that you know the machines and how everything works, the other people are just non-existent.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say? So at this point, you've lost 85 pounds in 13 months. Right now, what is your driving factor? What's your motivation?
Well, I've come so far that I just really want to see how far I can go. And I'm starting to kind of, like, I hit a really big plateau there for a while and I broke past it, which is great. But now that I am feeling, like, better and happier, I'm starting to feel like, okay, well, do I really want... Like, do I need to keep going? Do I want to keep going? It's hard to really know where you want to be and what you want to do. But I do know that I want to get... My long-term goal has always been 199. Just because I've always been 200-300 pounds.
Right.
And I have no idea what 100 feels like anything. I have no idea. So that is my long-term goal. Even though right now I can honestly say that I feel comfortable and happy in my body. You know, and I by no means want to be that skinny mini, you know, girl. There's plenty of models out there that have, like, you know, love handles and a little bit of a, you know, puckered tummy, and that's beautiful. I love that.
You know what? In fact, when people do the best is when they can get to a place where they feel comfortable. Like, you're not in such a bad mindset that you hate the way your body looks. You're more in a place of acceptance, and then whatever work you do, at least you're doing it from a positive mindset.
Yeah, I mean, there's still definitely days that I just hate some parts of my body. That's normal. It's just always gonna want better.
Yeah.
But it's nice to actually be in a place where I'm just like, that's not bad.
Yeah. So that, like, whereas before maybe every day was like that.
Every day. Oh yeah, and then
now
some. I would dream about being skinny and wake up like in tears because, like, I don't know who that person was in the dream.
Wow.
Like 4 or 5 days a week, I would have a dream of myself being skinny, and it's just like, that's so cruel. Brain, what are you doing to me? Like, totally, it was not cool.
You're not helping.
No, not at all.
So tell me, as you continue on, and obviously, like, with what you've learned about how food works in your body and how to balance going hard at the gym, and then if you need a few days off, you take the days off. You can see that as long as you keep going, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Tell me about a goal that maybe you'd like to check off the list in the next 6 months or so.
6 months. So I definitely want to be to the 199 goal, and I know that's totally achievable. I just got to keep moving forward. Mount Benson, I don't know if we mentioned that now or before, but so Mount Benson has always, Westwood was my first one that I was so scared to conquer, but Mount Benson is definitely the next one on the agenda. I'm hoping to go in the spring because I don't want to be, like, suffocating and, like, 28, 29 degrees. So that's one goal. What else? Clothing, kind of like superficial stuff, be into smaller clothing. I haven't bought another pair of gold jeans yet, but because the ones I have are small or too big.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Kitty and I were just talking about that the fact that it's almost time for us to go up Benson again. I think this will be our 3rd year taking a big group up there, so that'll be fun, and we'll make sure that we include you in there. That's awesome. So now tell me if again, the point of this primarily is to help those people that are out there that are really struggling with not having a trainer or a gym or anything like that. If right now with what you know, if you could go back and talk to Sarrah from a year ago, what would be the number one, the one advice that you'd give?
Well, probably just to start, it can be the hardest thing is to just do it. It's so hard to, when you're in such a dark place, such a low place, it's very hard to step out of that box and just do it. So, just go for that walk. Just go for that walk, and then the next day just go for that walk, and then the next day just go for that walk. And eventually it'll transition into, okay, maybe I'm gonna go farther, or maybe I'm gonna go to Butter Tubs. It's a nice walk and it's not too, incliney, and it'll just keep going as you start to feel better and feel more empowered. Is just keep going. Consistency, what is the thing you say? Consistency is better
over intensity.
Yeah. And it's so true. It's like if you keep going, you are gonna get where you're going. Yeah. It's not about going and climbing mountains. It's not about like sweating till
destroying yourself every day
till you feel that like bloody taste in your mouth that we all get.
What?
It's not about that.
I'm dying.
It is. It's so hard. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like I was just saying earlier, I think I have to acknowledge that. I often feel incredibly proud of my clients, almost to the point where I feel as if they were my kids. But I've never felt this proud of someone that is not in the gym, somebody that is not a member of Driven, even though it kind of feels like you are. You know what I mean? Just because we've been in touch for a while now, and just watching you progress and keep at it is super inspirational, big time.
Well, I couldn't have done it alone, really. So you were definitely a big driving force in that, and just not just your little tip of the calories and stuff, but watching the videos and the advice and the motivational stuff that you post is very helpful, and it's kind of like a little gentle reminder every now and again to, that some of the things you're going through is totally normal, and that, just keep going. The Facebook group is great. Yeah, it's just all very, very helpful for somebody who can't necessarily afford to work out at Driven. And there's a lot of ways to go about this, and all it takes is just starting.
Totally, guys. I will post a link up here to our Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group where you can just join in there, and I'm always supporting you there, answering questions, and posting workouts, recipes, and stuff. And we have a lot of plans coming to support that group even more. So that is awesome. If you know anybody that needs a little bit of help, and they can't afford to come to the gym or anything, they can definitely.
You can do it.
Yes,
you can.
Absolutely.
I am.
Here's proof right here.
So normal. Like I'm. Mom and life and job and dogs and been through a lot, just like many people in this world, and you just gotta make the switch. Make the change.
85 pounds, 13 months so far.
So far, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, Sarrah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing this twice.
I know. The first one was so good, guys. I hope you enjoyed this.
It was. But there you go. We got this one. For sure it recorded. Yay.
Yay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.